Once again, I welcome all our eminent guests, and I would request Dr. Manoj to start with the session to introduce about like MPhil Clinical Psychology program, and then like other faculties like Dr. Vikas and Dr. Nadeem Kirmani, and will take over the session. And meanwhile, I will request you can type your questions in the chat box. We will try to answer all those questions one by one, whatever questions you have. So you can feel free. You feel free to write any kind of questions related to that. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Manoj. So I think you should start with the session.
Thank you, Dr. Atul, for giving us opportunity to interact with the aspirants who is going to start their career in clinical psychology. And I hope we will be able to, with my colleague, Dr. Vikas Sharma, Mr. Ved Prakash, and Dr. Kirmani, will be able to solve their some of the queries. And I hope they will learn, understand, and they will understand how to proceed in this area. So I welcome you all for this webinar. And MPhil, as you know, MPhil in clinical psychology was initially started in NIMHANS and around 50 to 60 years ago. So, and then later on it was further, this course was started in CIP, then RINPAS, and there are many institutes. And now currently, more than 55 institutes in the country are running MPhil in clinical psychology course. In 1992, RCI passed an act, the Parliament passed an act which is called RCI Act 1992. And thereafter, since clinical psychology was not a regulated profession in our country, so RCI took initiative, and some of our clinical psychology seniors and the founder members of Indian Association of Clinical Psychology approached that we the government to take up and to start to have some regulation in this area. So RCI included clinical psychology program into their constitution, and they prepared the guideline. And thereafter, one by one, and now there are more than 55 institutes in the country which are being regulated by Rehabilitation Council of India. And since this is regulated by Rehabilitation Council of India, therefore it is having a uniform structure of training, uniform structure of syllabus, uniform guidelines, uniform system in place. And for that, that is why this course has been increased. Demand for this course has been increasing day by day, and the aspirants are opting more and more for clinical psychology. So this is little background about clinical psychology, and my friend Dr. Kirmani will be highlighting that when Enhance started and what is their course structure and how to go about it. Since we have passed out our MPhils in 2005 to 7 from IBHAS, and in 2004 this IBHAS started this course in Delhi NCR region. So you can understand from there now, around 16 years this course has been successfully, 17 years this course has been running there regularly there. And meanwhile I got associated with GMCH in 2012, and there I started my career as a faculty. And there in 2011 the first batch came in GMCH Chandigarh. So thereafter, I took up the charge of administrative charge of so many things in structuring this course, since this course was new there. So I am still looking after the various aspect of this course at GMCH Chandigarh, and I'll be happy to help you answer your queries if you have certain queries related to our course in Chandigarh, GMCH Chandigarh, as well as some journal queries which are related to course structure training and all that. My colleague also will going to give their inputs and answer your queries. So welcome you all again. This was the little background of this seminar, this webinar. And if you have any queries and anything you want to ask, you can type your questions. We'll be happy to answer. So by the time we get some questions, I invite Dr. Vikas Sharma to little bit give some overview about MPhil Clinical Psychology course, so that participants can understand, right? So, I invite Dr. Vikas, please.
Thank you, Dr. Manoj, for your kind introduction. It is great. Today is a very pleasant morning, even in Delhi NCR. Very sunny day, and I am happy to see so many aspirants here who want to pursue their career in the area of clinical psychology. So actually, there is a transition. If you see from masters, we follow a more general approach, and in MPhil, the program is more specialized. So it is basically the application aspect and how to apply the principles of clinical psychology to deal with variety of mental health problems. Mental health problems not only in mental health institutions but also in general hospital setting. So this training basically is intended to impart skills which are important in dealing with the patients presenting with variety of clinical and mental health problems, ranging from common mental disorders like anxiety, phobias, depression, to severe form of mental health problems like schizophrenia, BPAD, schizoaffective disorders. So as you know, this is a training program, so a lot of emphasis is given on the training aspects. Although there is a significant amount of theoretical inputs which are given, but at the same time, the trainees are encouraged to actually utilize those theoretical aspects with the clinical population. So this is just a brief, you can say, background about the nature of training which is given to the candidates. Now see, many aspirants, they think like how to actually prepare for MPhil clinical psychology tests, and many times they focus only on clinical psychology aspects. So I think my other colleagues will also agree with me that when we think about MPhil clinical psychology, we feel that we need to prepare the clinical psychology portion only. This is not true, because as I think all of you, all aspirants will agree with me, that actually many principles, even if you see the social psychology principles like attribution theories, communication models, so they are also equally important when you are dealing with patients. So when you are actually dealing with your client, you are not only utilizing the core clinical psychology aspects, but you are also utilizing the social psychology aspects. You are also doing research. So therefore, when you are actually preparing for clinical psychology entrance exam, we need to focus on all the aspects. Even during training, like this is my own personal experience as the head of the department, that we try to impart the knowledge principles from all the areas of clinical psychology, and not just the clinical psychology, but all the areas of psychology. Because to understand a patient, we need to adopt a more, you can say, a holistic approach. So if you want to understand a patient, you need to apply you need to use the principles of general psychology also. And secondly, like if you see, if I talk about behavior therapy, from where behavior therapy have come? Basically, it is driven from the learning theories, and learning theories are taught at general psychology level. So until unless you know about general learning principles, how will you learn behavior therapy? So such things are always there. So it is my suggestion to all the aspirants that when you are preparing for MPhil, or when actually you are doing MPhil, you need to keep yourself open, and you should read all the aspects, all important aspects related to psychology, and not just the clinical psychology. So these are just some of the opening remarks from my side. Thank you. Hello, Dr. Manoj, are you there?
So, thank you, Vikasji, and you have very beautifully summarized this aspect that what preparation has to be done. There was some question from Prableen Kaur Chawla asked one question that what kind of question are expected in entrance examination. I hope Dr. Vikas has explained in that way, and I also had the experience of preparing such kind of examination and for different centers. So what is being done is that the question are generally related to general psychology, in which it is included the social psychology, research methodology, clinical social psychology, as well research this personality theories and history and systems and almost everything which you can study in your master's program. So everything is in there, and you can say proportion of all these question maybe 8 to 10 question in specific area of this thing, because while preparing these questions people keep in mind that it should be from the all general psychology which can cover all area of psychology, so that the participants, those who are giving entrance, they are found to be a good, like masters in psychology means masters in psychology, so they are having a very well good background in psychology, so that they can further utilize their those knowledge into practice while they enter into MPhil clinical psychology program. It is nowhere expected that a person, a candidate who should be reading clinical psychology beforehand while entering in the MPhil program. So MPhil program, it's a training, and we are making them as a clinical psychologist. We are not asking that clinical psychologist should come and join MPhil. So in that way, a general preparation of all these subjects related to psychology, all branches, they should prepare thoroughly. Like in UGC net, what you prepare is every area, everything you prepare. Cognitive psychology also you prepare, research methodology you also prepare, clinical also prepared, है ना? So behavior modification and all this neuropsychology, these are the different subspecialties in psychology which you need to read and study it thoroughly, and personality theories and histories, you know. So this is what is required. So moving from this question to the next question, it is possible to do MPhil in clinical psychology after having masters in counseling psychology? That's a very important question by Simran Srivastava. And as you may be aware that RCI has given a eligibility criteria that any person who is MA in psychology or MSc in psychology in whatever field it is, it has to be in the psychology, whether it is a counseling psychology, whether it is a clinical psychology, whether it is applied psychology, whether it is general psychology. So they all are eligible to enter into entrance examination to appear in the entrance examination. So RCI has very clear cut guidelines, even though some of the institute have specific some criterias. You need to read the prospectus of their entrance examination. There you can find who is eligible, what is eligibility criteria, and you can go through that and you can prepare well. So I hope there is no restriction that on masters in counseling psychology will not be able to appear in the entrance exam. That's not true, and everybody who is masters in psychology can appear in the entrance examination of MPhil clinical psychology course as per RCI, right? So uh, next question, we can Prableen Kaur Chawla. What kind of question are expected? It is already answered, है ना?
During the interview.
Oh, acha, okay. So this
During the interview.
question is very important, because many of the institutes which are run by different organizations like Amity University, Dr. Vikas will be able to help you in this. But in GMCA Chandigarh, we don't have any interview kind of things and marks for that. IBHAS has interview marks, but we don't have interview marks. That is why I'm saying, while you appearing any MPhil clinical psychology program or a respective institute, you can go through their guidelines, which they have mentioned in their prospectus, there you will find the process of their selection. So in GMCH we don't have any interview marks, and we don't conduct interview. That is just a counseling to confirm that their certificates are in order, and they are eligible for the MPhil program. So we select them on the basis of their merit in the entrance examination. Even though sometimes the marks are equal in their merits, then we have a further process to include them. The person who is having a higher age will be selected. Right. This is as usual as in government services it is being used. So since we are a government institute, so we have to follow the policies in that way. And somehow some of the institutes interview had specific criteria, and it is being specially conducted to screen out after even entrance examination and to select them. So it's a institute level policy. So Dr. Vikas will be able to tell you, because I think in Amity they conduct the interviews while selecting the candidates, right? So Dr. Vikas, can you
Yes.
just elaborate on
Yes,
that?
thank you, Dr. Manoj. In fact, like most of the training institutes of clinical psychology, they do conduct interview, most of them, after the entrance examination. So if you talk about interview, then generally an interview board is constituted, and there are experts in that board. So they test various aspects, like they test to what extent you know about it. Although you have given the entrance, but it does not mean that in interview they will not ask any question, theoretical question. They can ask any question. They can ask you any question from the theory part. Then they may see your aptitude. They may ask you certain questions, to what extent you are inclined to do this particular program. They may ask about your own experiences. They may ask questions like, why do you want to actually pursue this particular program? So they're actually basically you need to give more academic and professional answers to all the
List of
questions.
college for RCA.
Yes, and the way you communicate, how you are communicating with the interview board also is very important. So basically, if you see as psychologists, there may be both open-ended and closed-ended questions. So for interview, basically what you can do is you can write down your interest areas in psychology. Basically, you can again go through the important theories, whatever you have learned, and then be open. Sometimes what happens, I have noticed that many good candidates, they get very anxious before the interview. Because of they see the board members and now they have to directly answer the questions, so they're more anxious, and because of that anxiety, many times they are not able to explain the concepts well. So don't worry, it is normal to get anxious. In fact, minimum degree of stress is required to perform well. So a normal degree of stress is okay, much. Or if you attribute a lot of value to it, that everything depends on this, then things become difficult. So my suggestion to all the aspirants is that you should be confident as far as possible, but not overconfident. If you don't know any concept, it's okay, because it is not necessary that every person knows everything. So you can just say no if you don't know the answer. But still there is a lot of scope to speak, because it's not only close-ended questions, but open-ended questions are also asked. So there you can share your own interest area. You can always share that you actually want to pursue this particular program because of these reasons, whatever reasons you have. So I would suggest that if you take a more proactive role in interview, that does not mean that you will disturb the entire process of interviewing, but just be proactive, just explain the things, whatever you know. If they ask you tell something about yourself, then try to give more academic and professional answers. So all these things are very helpful in getting good marks in interview. Be properly dressed, use technical words while answering the questions. So it should get reflected that when one is talking to a person who has done masters. So that kind of the orientation basically is always helpful in interviews.
Okay. Hello. Am I
Yes, ma'am.
audible? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Trissa,
Yes,
you are
yes,
So,
ma'am,
audible.
you are.
So
No, no,
Trissa
sir.
ma'am will, Trissa ma'am, I'll request you to like talk about all like we do, and you and
I
you
was
are
coming to
from
that, sir.
like CIP also, so you
I was
can
coming
tell
to that.
everything about CIP
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and you are associated with us also, so you can talk about our process of
Definitely.
preparing a student for MPhil clinical psychology. So if you have any question like related to that, you can ask Trissa ma'am,
Hmm.
and
I'll take over
Vikas,
for some time,
yes,
like for
yes,
five,
please, yes,
7 minutes.
Trissa.
Yeah. So, firstly, yeah, a very warm welcome to all the dignitaries, especially Dr. Vikas and Dr. Manoj. I've also personally heard a lot about you from Atul sir. And I am Trisha. I've done my clinical psychology MPhil from CIP 2015-17 batch, and then from then on, I've been very closely associated with the UIBS, and also I'm currently pursuing my PhD. So I'm there in-house clinical psychologist, in-house faculty. So yeah, learned and done a lot with Atul sir. So like as Dr. Vikas sir very nicely gave us very clear insights about importance and the whole thing about the interview. So ऐसा नहीं है that everything totally depends on the interview, but yes, we need to take it up very seriously. And sir also said some amount of you stress is required. You don't have to stress yourself out that you mess up the whole interview, but yes, you sit there properly, and whatever you don't know, you can very nicely say that you've heard about this topic, you might have read about it, but right now you cannot recall it, and you will definitely go back and look more into it. Okay, so the best answer is that we prepare students rigorously for the interviews. Okay, so I myself have faced the CIP interview. Okay, so interview में basically what is there, they will ask you how, what is, or as sir said ना, अपना interest area list down करो, लिखो अपने इंटरेस्ट एरियाज को. ठीक है, आप उसको लिखिए, उसको उसी उन्हीं चीजों को अच्छे से पढ़ के जाइए. सपोजेडली यू से योर इंटरेस्ट एरिया इज स्किज़ोफ्रेनिया, एंड द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन हैपेंस टू बी व्हाट, DSM-5 changes in schizophrenia. It is very obvious. If you tell me your interest area is schizophrenia, I'm going to ask you DSM-5 changes, and you cannot name them. ठीक है, then it becomes a little messy. So make sure जो भी चीज आप बोल रहे हैं, जो भी चीज आप जो भी वहां पे अटर कर रहे हैं वर्ड्स, the pros and cons. आप उसके आगे के expected एक आधे questions answer कर पाए. That is the best way. Interview lead करना आपके हाथ में है. It's not on the other side of the table. You can lead the interview. And keep in mind, they are not talking to a school going student. They are talking to a psychologist in pursuit of MPhil. Okay, so you already are a person who have read 5 years or 2 years of rigorous or many years of experience भी हो सकता है work आपके पास. So you don't have to sit there. You can make the interview, you can drive the interview, you can answer it. You don't have to make it in police interrogation की तरह सिर्फ yes and no नहीं बोलना है. You need to have a proper conversation with them. Majorly, end of it, you need to leave an impact that you are somebody who has a background knowledge of psychology and a very good clinical aptitude to study further. That's it. They don't want everything, Sara Oxford textbook of psychiatry, ICD pura. They will not ask you such things. Even like as sir both of them said, they know that you are people in the making. Okay, they just want to see amount of aptitude and eagerness and curiosity you have to learn more, and sincerity, of course. Okay, so we have been rigorously preparing students. So in CIP, I remember they had shown me and other people, like uske baad ke bachchon ne bhi, like the UIBS ke, they gave us the same feedback. Abhi bhi jo bacche hain hamare wahan pe, that they might display some of the intelligence test, probably MISIC ya TAT ke cards ya TAT Indian version, the Uma Chaudhary version we use. So they might just ask you to identify things. कोई वहां पे टेस्ट कंडक्ट नहीं करना है, कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं करनी है. ठीक है, सो मेजरली आपको हो सकता है कि चीजें आइडेंटिफाई करने को बोली जाए. ओके, सो ये सारी चीजें, वी हैव ऑल दी टेस्ट, वी हैव, हमारे पास सारी चीजें होती हैं, तो वो हम प्रिपरेशन करवाते हैं आपको एडिक्वेटली. ठीक है, एंड देयर इज नो नेगेटिव मार्किंग इन CIP. Dilnawaz has a question. No negative marking in CIP. From where to obtain a complete list of RCI? Every month RCI updates a list. Go to their website. They have a new PDF, new thing every month, every 2 months. So you can go there and आपको RCI affiliated colleges का list updated हमेशा मिलेगा वहाँ पे. So the best and the most reliable source is RCI's website. Also be thorough with RCI's website. When was it established and things like that. Those are very important questions for your interview.
We have also like posted the link for the list on chat box.
We keep
Right?
on updating that. Yeah.
Trissa ma'am, you also like you can take care of the questions also
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I'll do that,
So,
sir. I'll do
so
that, sir.
like our like faculty will
Huh.
answer that. And before that, I would like to again introduce Dr. Mustafa Nadeem Kirmani. He is Associate Professor of Clinical Psychology at MIT University, as I have already introduced, but sir has joined just now. So I would like to introduce him. Welcome, sir, in the webinar, and thank you for
Thank you, sir.
thank you very much for joining
And
us.
welcome.
And there will be like
Am I
sir has
audible?
done from Nimhans, right? Sir, you are from Nimhans alumni, right? Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are
Yes,
audible,
yes,
sir.
you are.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sir, like you are from
I
Nimhans,
can hear you.
so
Am I
I would
audible to
like.
you?
Yes, yes, you are audible. You are
Okay,
audible.
okay. I can hear you very
So.
clearly.
Sir,
Yes,
I just want you to tell us about like MPhil
yes,
clinical
sir.
psychology from Nimhans, so so that a student will know like details about that. I think some network issue is there.
Yes, yes. First, I would like to thank Atul sir that for providing me the chance to give my input. See, Nimhans, we have, to the best of my remember, that there is, I think, 100 questions are there, and it has to be done. They have to be done in 90 minutes. Okay, and 0.25 negative marking is there. Means if the wrong four questions are wrong, your 1 mark is deducted. Okay, and the questions which Nimhans ask is basically, as most of the institutes, is basic. Like for example, they want to know what is your understanding of research methodology, or what is your understanding of personality, what is your understanding of social psychology, counseling psychology, clinical psychology, and in research methodology, and things like that. Questions on OB, industrial psychology, are very minimal. That has been observed. Okay, and very important point, I want to say that if you want to qualify for MPhil Nimhans, you should be very sure that minimal marks that you can get should be between 85 to 90. That has been the trend. If you see the result, you will find that 85, if someone is getting 81 or 82 marks, it is difficult. So 85, 90 is minimum thing you can think of. If you see the result now, this year 88% was the thing. 87, 86 people was not able to qualify. So if you take this benchmark, so and plus the point that 0.25 is a negative marking, then it will give you a guideline how to qualify for that. Okay. My understanding is knowledge, besides knowledge, your attitude and your skill to acquaint with yourself on digital medium is also very, very, very important to qualify any exam, be it be MPhil or be in any entrance exam. So that is what the thing is about Nimhans entrance examination. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Trista ma'am, do you have any other question for sir?
Yes, sir.
Already.
Welcome.
So
Thank you, Dr. Mustafa. Okay, now the question is open to any of the three dignitaries. Okay, so there's a question by Alistair. They're asking that how can a clinical psychologist integrate their experience in the industrial setting? Like, how can we work in the industrial setting? How can we use our knowledge, our skills of the assessment and therapies in the industrial setting? So, any one of you who's like who feels free can answer this question.
Okay. Should I answer? If I
yeah, sure.
do I have the permission to answer the question?
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. This is a good question. Like how we can apply the principles of clinical psychology in industrial settings and on organizational behavior, as sir was saying, organizational aspects. You see now, if you see the trend because of COVID, there are a lot of stress-related issues even amongst the employees of the or different organizations and industries. So their clinical psychologist has an important role to play in assessing the mental health problems amongst the employees and then planning interventions for them. So I think the other dignitaries sitting over here would agree with me that the principles of positive psychology are utilized a lot with the employees in the industry, because many of them may not be actually suffering from core clinical psychology aspects. Only maybe a small percentage may be suffering, but still they may be having a lot of distress because of other issues related to the work. Sometimes the sheer quantum of work in itself may lead to a lot of distress and anxieties in them. Then they have fixed routines to follow, they have fixed rules which are there. So these factors may be associated with a lot of distress and anxieties. So there clinical psychologists can play a very important role. Secondly, if you see, even in selection of personnel in industry and organization, there also we clinical psychologists have important role to play, because we are trained to do assessments also, like we do personality assessment, we do cognitive assessments. So such assessments are very important to actually make decisions about hiring the personnel in the industry. So that aspect is also very important. So in industry also, I know many people, many clinical psychologists, they are working in corporate sector, and they are doing very well in terms of addressing the mental health aspects of employees, and secondly enhancing their overall well-being. So from that perspective, I think clinical psychologists have a major role to play in industry and organizations. I hope I could answer the question.
Yeah, Dr. Vikas, you have very well. I completely endorsed and agree to the point mentioned by Dr. Vikas. It's a very important area, because since uh, you can understand 90% of the person, those who are employable, are working in some such kind of private setups. Only 10% population which is working this is in the government sector or in public sector services, but 90% of the person are employed in different kind of industries. So for them, see, if you can take example for NCR, Gurgaon region and all that, so there are many multinational companies. There is a lot of work pressure, and you can say they have been a targets to complete and achieve. And this continuous pressure is it increases the likelihood of developing certain kind of disorders in them. So clinical psychologists, even then, so many industry, even the Indian oil organization, even Reliance, and there's some more major industry, Tata Consultancy Services, and all these, they Infosys, they also hire clinical psychologists for their employees. So there is a scope of a recruitment of clinical psychologists in diverse settings. So once you are trained and experienced in that particular area, and you can easily work in these kind of setups, and MPhil clinical psychology will make you the person as a qualified professional to work in these clients, to work with these clients for such conditions. So I think clinical psychology has a diverse role to play in different setup, not only restricted to mental health setting or the establishment or mental hospitals or the medical colleges, right? So it has a diverse application.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can I add something to it?
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Kirmani. Yes, please go ahead.
So I had an experience when I was in Bangalore. I was invited by Monsanto, which is a company, wherein they asked me to teach them skills of problem solving skills. So problem solving area is something which is very important. So if you're working as a clinical psychologist, we have to develop a mindset that we are actually working beyond correcting psychopathology. Nowadays, clinical psychology has a lot of scope. Now we are talking in terms of happiness. So many times, when you're working as CP, you will be asked to go to any IT sector, any industry, and they will ask you to have relationship issues, because many times what happens is, in industries, in any corporate setup, in any setup, you will have relationship problems. You have a fight with your boss. So when you're having conflicts, what happens is productivity decreases. So as clinical psychologists, we are also trained in relationship management through marital therapy. So we use those skills, we apply those skills, how to teach how negotiation and how to resolve conflict with your higher authorities. Not only this, they also ask you to teach their employees, happiness, how you can improve their happiness index, because it has been found very clearly that the more happier you are, the more productive you are. Okay, so these are the problem solving skills you have. Like many things. For example, a lot of workshop they ask for the stress management. Nowadays, mindfulness has become a very important tool, and so mindfulness-based stress reduction program MBSR as we call it, is something which is very important. So we have a lot of scopes of clinical psychology in industrial setup. What is required is we have to advocate that thing in that area. So we have a lot of scope and diverse work need to be done. We have to go beyond, and we are going towards beyond psychopathology, and we are coming towards increasing happiness, which is also an area where clinical psychologists have been working. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very nice.
thank you. Yeah, thank you, all three of you. Okay, so just to summarize, Dr. Vikas gave us an insight about the importance of positive psychology, hiring, and all the processes. Okay, wherein clinical psychologists work. Dr. Manoj also, gave us a very nice insight about, the companies which have already done this, which have in-house clinical psychologists and all. And as Dr. Kirmani said, positive psychology may happiness index, which is very much important, mindfulness and all. So clinical psychology has moved beyond just that restricted psychopathology category, and we have also ventured into very nicely into the positive psychology, looking beyond symptoms. Not everyone is symptomatic to be looked after. Okay, even normal people need maintenance med therapy so that they function and they are very very good and they're very productive. Okay, so moving ahead, often students, often, like, this is for all three of you, often students have this question when they come to us. Okay, that how much are they contributing in psychotic cases, what is their role, like what happens, because they've also been taught about antipsychotics, फर्स्ट जनरेशन सेकंड जनरेशन, वो सारी चीजें भी उनको पढ़नी है एंट्रेंस के लिए. कभी कोई नाम, like somebody could ask them something. Okay, so leave aside all those. What is their role? They, as clinical psychologists, how would they later contribute to psychotic disorders? What happens there?
Yes, actually, ma'am, people feel that clinical psychologists have a minimal role to play in
Exactly.
psychotic
I wanted you to
disorders.
clarify that.
Yes, and but I am happy to share with our aspirants that there is a lot of you can say lot of our role when we are addressing the people who are suffering from severe mental disorders, serious mental disorders like schizophrenia, psychotic disorders. So there basically you see there are a lot of deficits which are associated with psychotic disorders. They may be having social skills deficit, they may be having general skills deficit. So all these issues are generally addressed by clinical psychologists. Then I think many of the aspirants may be knowing about the term expressed emotions in the families of people suffering from schizophrenia. So how to manage those conditions, that also is very important. Then when we talk about activity scheduling, so many psychotic patients, when they may not be displaying the active psychotic symptoms like hallucinations or delusions, but still may be suffering from the other symptoms of schizophrenia. So but they're dull, they are not doing any activities. So for that, activity scheduling is done, which is generally this activity scheduling is carried out by clinical psychologists. So that is also a very important role of clinical psychologists there. You see various principles of behavior therapy, especially the token economy programs like token economy. They are used with psychotic patients to enhance the desirable behaviors and to reduce the undesirable behaviors. So there is a lot of scope. Then many a times there are compliance issues in psychotic patients. They may not take the medicines, maybe because that may be part of their actually the psychopathology. They may feel that somebody has mixed something into it. So maybe they are suspicious. So addressing these issues, medication management is also a very important aspect in psychotic patients. So that aspect also is generally taken care of by the clinical psychologists. So like these are just general my suggestions, that so many things we can do with even with the psychotic population. Skills training, social skills training, using principles of behavior therapy to enhance the desirable behaviors, doing activity scheduling, doing medication management. All these areas, important areas, are there in which
Definitely.
clinical psychologists can play a very important role.
In addition to that, Dr. Vikas, what had told, there is a role of CBT in psychosis. Now it is emerging as a one of the field where systematized delusions are handled, because these are also a belief and which can be easily handled by the CBT program. And there is a lot of work is going on. Other than that, they now DSM has included a cognitive deficit in executive functioning and all that criteria into diagnosing schizophrenia. And with the use of antipsychotics, long-term antipsychotic, and the chronic course, continuous course, and severity of schizophrenia, positive and negative symptoms, fluctuation, and further, it becomes a static course of general symptoms of schizophrenia. So, in that case, cognitive rehabilitation, cognitive deficits which they are having in that area, cognitive rehabilitation help them to overcome their negative symptoms, improve their negative symptoms specifically. So, it's also being researched and being applicable in this population by a clinical psychologist. So,
Yes.
I think
Thank
besides
you,
what,
Dr. Manoj.
yeah,
Yes,
uh,
thank you, Manoj sir, for adding that long-standing psychotic illness may be associated with lot of cognitive deficits,
yeah, yeah,
and clinical psychologists, they can do assessments and management of those deficits.
yeah, yeah,
So thank you so much for adding.
yeah,
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 Dr.
Nadeem sir,
Kirmani.
yes, carry
yeah.
on.
yes, I was saying that, besides CBT and social skills training and other behavior interventions, which has become important in psychotic illness, nowadays even positive psychology has been used in working with patients with psychotic illness. Tayyab Rashid has done a lot of good work. I was reading the day before yesterday. Positive engagement of clients and focusing on the strength of the patient is something which is also shifted its thing towards working with patients of psychotic illness. So positive psychology has started playing a big role in working with psychotic illnesses. But one thing you should remember, the aspirants, that therapy of when you're doing a therapy with psychotic illness, you can start therapy only once the symptoms are stabilized. You cannot do a therapy when the patient is having florid psychopathology, is having active hallucination or delusions. Then the role of medication becomes more important. Once the symptoms are stabilized, then therapeutic work can be started. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So I would just like to summarize the answer. So very well explained by the three of you. We understood the importance of behavior interventions. We understood the importance of social skills training. Okay, they have to bounce back to the real world again. They have to go join their jobs again. They have to work in groups again, be with people again. Okay. So again, as Dr. Manoj said, negative symptoms पे भी काम हो सकता है, cognitive angle से भी काम हो सकता है. Then again, Dr. Kirmani also contributed. He said the the impact of positive psychology and everything. Okay, so I would just like to add one thing. Psychoeducation also plays a major role before the actual thing has begun. Okay, so our role as clinical psychologists, is very impactful once the psychoeducation has done very, very nicely. So families, fourth, fifth episode में लेके आती हैं, unfortunately, but sometimes they do not have a very nice background of what actually is schizophrenia. The whole family, leave aside the client. Okay, they don't know. तो इसलिए रिलैप्स के चांसेस ज्यादा होते हैं, as one of the dignitaries pointed out, expressed emotions का ध्यान नहीं रखा जाता. So psychoeducation has to be covered and taken very seriously. Okay, so yeah, next question, sir, we have for the three of you is that what is the difference between
Yes.
Psych D and PhD? Psych D and PhD. So it's PSYD, Psych D and PhD.
So, responding to this query, because recently we had a thorough discussion with all the head of the departments of country in clinical psychology settings, and being a secretary of IACP, I took opportunity to compile all those parameters and what was the thoughts process of all these our fraternity. So in that, PsyD is being basically a terminology used for clinical psychology course in UK and other countries. This is a 3-year program, and doctor in clinical psychology is also one of that program. And PsyD is also adopted by this RCI, and it has a 4-year program. It can be done after 2 year of MPhil, and you can have lateral entry. And but unfortunately, it is running at one institute, and no more institutes are following this because
Hello.
We'll just wait for Dr. Manoj to get back.
Yes,
Probably a
I
technical
think
glitch there. Yeah. So we'll just wait because he was
yes.
sharing a very nice experience of how he had a meeting with all the HODs, which is very recent, something he was sharing, and so it will give us a very nice insight. Kya chal raha hai? Because on and off we get students who come up very excited कि SciD करना है and all, but probably they don't have a good idea है क्या? How should they go about? How is it going to benefit them? By like license है नहीं है, क्या choice होना चाहिए, PhD या SciD and all. Okay, so we'll just wait. Okay. Yeah. In the meantime, if you any one of you wants to contribute, because students very often come with this query. And so, like to Dr. Vikas, they are very like one of them also told me about this course in Amity. Amity mein they've started this course, probably Amity Noida, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, earlier it was offered. Now also I think it's offered. So basically, in PsyD, more importance is given on the training aspects, and it is closely it is like MPhil in the sense that person has to actually go to the hospital, go to the clinical institution, work over there. Whereas a PhD is more research oriented. If I'm not wrong, I think Dr. Nadeem
Yes.
Kirmani sir is also there. Now, Manoj sir has also joined back. So in PhD is more research focused, whereas in PsyD, equal importance is also given to the clinical exposure.
Clinical training.
Apart from doing the research. It is a very popular program in USA, actually, PsyD program. In India, there are only hardly one or two or three institutions which are offering this particular program. So still, I think most of the clinical psychologists, they generally do PhD in clinical psychology or psychology after doing MPhil in clinical psychology, then actually pursuing PsyD. So PsyD is not very popular in India as of now. Although in US, many students, they go to the US, they have their own training model. And actually, there are different training models which you can go through. There is Boulder model of training to understand more about how PsyD is different from PhD. So I think now Manoj sir has joined and he was sharing something. So I think it's better that we listen to him first and then.
Yes. Definitely give Dr. Manoj a chance to complete because he was sharing something important.
You're contributing rightly, Vikas sir. There is no problem. So still, what I was sharing the experience, what we had a meeting with all of them, and we represented in the RCI because recently, new education policy has came up with that MPhil is demolished and MPhil will not be continued. So with that, a lot of people from our country, from different institute, and even the aspirants of clinical psychology approached us that we should have a clear-cut answer to that because we are having some confusion about that. Some of the university has denied doing MPhil and all that. So we approached RCI also. We had a meeting with the RCI professionals also, and by now RCI has taken a stand that MPhil in clinical psychology specifically is not removed from the courses. So although we have also done some exercises and we have suggested the different name for that, and we opted that name for doctor in clinical psychology, which is a 3-year program or 2-year program after your masters, and considering the national education policy. So but somehow they retained the MPhil in clinical psychology course as it is, and they didn't change anything in that, and in for that effect they have issued a letter also, which you can found on RCI website, right? So other thing is that PsyD, as the Dr. Vikas was explaining, PsyD is a 4-year full-time program, RCI recognized in our country. Not like other countries where the PsyD program is very different. That is here we can have lateral entry after 2 year of MPhil, and it remains 2 year. That is a thesis work mainly. and here you can directly, after masters, you can directly opt out PsyD. That is a 4-year program. The first 2 years are similar to your MPhil in clinical psychology, and the next 2 years are you are doing like a research work, PhD like thesis work, which is already being mentioned. And this course is this syllabus guidelines are also available on RCI website. So in our country, PsyD has not been so popular because of various reasons. Because MPhil is a professional qualification which is being 2-year program after your master, and people, as soon as they want to start with their career, they do MPhil in clinical psychology. Later on, those who are having an interest in as a faculty, or they want to teach somewhere, or they want to make some super specializations and all that. So for teaching faculty, PhD is requirement sometimes, and people go for, after MPhil they opt for the PhD. In general, PhD, people go for after their MPhil. That takes minimum 3-4 years. Whereas in PsyD, it is an integrated program. You do MPhil, that include MPhil as well as your research aspect. So it is equivalent to your PhD in a way, if you want to work in general university settings as a teacher. But as well as you are a qualified clinical psychologist also, and RCI recognize you and give you the license for that as a practitioner clinical psychologist. So I hope this PsyD and PhD is a academic qualification, academic degree, which is a requirement for appointment or promotions in different teaching cadre. And whereas MPhil in clinical psychology is a professional course, after which you can start your career as a private practitioner, or you can work as a clinical psychologist. You can start your own clinic, and you can do patient care, and you can do start therapy testing and all that on your own. So in that way, MPhil 2-year is being opted by many aspirants, and PsyD is very less popular comparative to the other countries where. And PsyD is not specifically is in particularly in clinical psychology. PsyD has other discipline also. If you go USA, APA recognized PsyD programs, they have a PsyD in counseling psychology, PsyD in industrial psychology. There are different discipline in that. So don't be confused about that. In India, only PsyD in clinical psychology is there, but in other countries, PsyD in different subjects in psychology are also there. So, and they get license for that also, right? So in that way, this PsyD, PhD, MPhil, this program is different. All three of different, and we have proposed this doctor in clinical psychology, so that people can directly consider themselves as a doctor of clinical psychology after doing doctor in clinical psychology. But somehow this MPhil, this course is retained by the RCI. There is no further controversy on that, and we should be going ahead with MPhil in clinical psychology only.
Okay.
Thank you.
One
Thank you so much,
question.
Dr. Manoj.
Sir, I have one question from
Yes,
all
sir.
of it's like usually we me and Trasa also has the same questions from students that should we go for professional diploma in clinical psychology, or we should go for MPhil clinical psychology, and then PsyD already you answered. So I would like to ask question from all of you, your personal opinion about this. Should like students will go for that or not? Another thing, like in PsyD, I, as far as I know, PsyD is only in the private institutions right now, right?
1 or 2 places.
One or two places only.
So
and
Vicar is doing, and they
so
don't
Vicar
get
and
any
the MAT
candidate.
is doing.
They don't get any candidate even.
So that is the thing. And then it is like some financially it is like very like
Stipend issues and all
there
that
is no
also.
stipend, and जो आपका क्या कहते हैं fee is very higher side, because in private institutions that we all know. So paying for 4 years is also a major concern for many students. So again I'm coming back to the question: should like a student go by professional diploma in clinical psychology or MPhil in clinical psychology? What is the difference between them?
I think, can I answer this question, Tulsi?
Yes, Vikas, sir. Yes, Vikas.
So, actually, it depends on the depth, to what depth you want to go. So, if you see professional diploma in clinical psychology, if one wants to serve as a clinical psychologist only somewhere, so he can do that program. But if you want to make career in academics, or if you want to teach clinical psychology, then MPhil is the requirement. So if you feel that if the aspirant, they feel that they want to go in more depth in terms of the inputs and then contribute more extensively in different areas, then MPhil, I think, will provide you more opportunities. So after PDCP, you will get the registration from the RCI, and you can work as a clinical psychologist somewhere, but you cannot teach clinical psychology.
Associate clinical
Associate
psychologist.
clinical psychology.
Right.
Yes, and they are known as associate clinical psychologists. But for after doing your MPhil, you can work as a clinical psychologist, and you can teach also. Teach clinical psychology, teach MPhil level candidates. So if you want to go in depth and if you have time, then you can do MPhil. But if you simply want to use the principles with clinical population, then I think PDCP is sufficient. If you want to do further research and go into more depth, then I think PsyD should be the preferred choice.
Yeah,
Yes,
Dr.
yes, Dr.
Kirmani might have some experience of running this course in other institute where he was working, so he can share
Yes.
his.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. See, the whole idea, as Dr. Vikas was rightly saying, that if you want to go into teaching, then obviously MPhil is a minimal thing that you have to do. But if you have an orientation only to work with the population and you don't have the time, in India, we have things that I don't have 3 years, 5 years. So I think a skill-based, professional skill-based program for just for working with the population, professional diploma in clinical psychology is sufficient. At least you can work and satisfy yourself and you can contribute something for the profession. But if you want to go ahead for research and other things also, then minimal thing is MPhil, then obviously they will ask you to do PhD also. So for clinical thing, professional diploma is enough. Professional diploma in clinical psychology.
Yes. Thank you, Kirmani sir, Dr. Kirmani.
Yes, sir.
I have just one small observation. Like if I see most of the advertisement, they ask for MPhil in clinical psychology.
Yes, sir.
Like in most of the organizations, I think they prefer MPhil qualification more than PDCP qualification. This is my general observation. I may be wrong, but I have come across that mostly in organizations, even when they
Not a single advertisement we have seen that
PDCP, yes.
Yeah, that is what is basically, if a person who recently Government of India has some plan to in the area of mental health care professionals, and they want to create a manpower who can serve much of the population.
Yes.
So DMHP program has some merit in that way, because the people, those who are trained in clinical psychology, like those who have done professional diploma in clinical psychology, they can closely work with the community settings, community workers there in community level, so that they are able to identify those people, those who are suffering with some kind of mental illness, and they can refer and they can do small level of intervention without any assistance. But definitely in depth training is there is no substitute for that. That 1 year program of diploma is not going to serve all the purpose as a clinical psychologist. It is just to assist and to associate clinical psychologists in various things, and they generally are being allowed to do psychometric testings and screening of the patients with schizophrenia or other mental illness, so that they can further refer to higher centers or to the qualified clinical psychologists for in-depth interventions and further therapies. So it's all up to you that whether you want to work as an associate clinical psychologist or you want to work as an independent clinical psychologist. Choice is yours.
Okay, so I'll just like to contribute. It seems like learning never stops. When I was pursuing masters, it seemed like chalo masters ho gaya. फिर then MPhil कर लेते हैं. Then when MPhil was about to get over, बस like because job में you said MPhil is mentioned, but desirable में PhD भी mentioned होता है sir. Like, so it's never
You are
the
right.
end. Desirable means, that's what I took up PhD also, but yeah, no plans after PhD. Okay. So any more question to anyone? For anyone? So one question which we repeatedly get is, when students come to us also, is what is the scope? Like, when they talk about scope, they talk about the job prospects. In the meantime, one of the dignitaries also spoke about DMHP and all, जो बहुत सारे job prospects generate हुए हैं जिससे, ठीक है? But students, they are very, curious before they take up MPhil, like what is going to be placement scope exactly, Praveen. Yeah, they want to know about the placements. How is it? How कैसा होगा picture? What would be the picture? How much would be the earning in the beginning with experience? Then add on hoga. So this is one thing they always want to know when they come to us.
For our experience, we started this MPhil clinical psychology program in 2011 in GMCH, and around 38 students have passed out from our this program, and 16s are there. So everybody is well placed. Not as a single clinical psychologist who have passed out, he didn't get anything, and not able to work anywhere. So scope is immense. If you are trained enough, you can work in private setup also. I get so many queries that we need a clinical psychologist. We need a clinical psychologist. I used to float a message on WhatsApp. We get so many applications. We send them, and they have been selected somewhere. So many times it is the frequent, you can say, requirement from the private setup also. The clinical psychologists are required. So we have made a demand, and community is understanding, society is understanding there is a requirement of mental health professional who is not prescribing medication and providing psychological methods to handle their issues. So there is a great demand for clinical psychologists. And now see, demand and supply. If the clinical psychologist jobs are not there, then why different institutes are running this MPhil clinical psychology course, and every year there is a addition of institutes who are running this clinical psychology course, and everyone who is in different institute will be agreeing to that. None of their students who have passed out MPhil from their institutes are not placed anywhere. They are not getting any job anywhere. That's they can tell, but I'm sure everybody is working. Everybody is working. It's a matter of that where you are placed. You want to change or shift somewhere, but everybody gets the job.
So can I add something to what Dr. Manoj said? It also
Yes.
depends on you. It also depends on the student, on the trainee. If you are not proactive, you can pass your 2 years of MPhil without seeing any personality disorder cases. And these are the cases जो बाद में clinics में आते हैं. Clinics में, when you work in private setups and all, you get these adjustment issues, depression, OCD, personality cases. And you might just shy back in your training and avoid it and not take it. And later when it comes to you, then you start reading, and then you start texting and calling other बैचमेट्स कि तुमने देखा था यार एक क्लाइंट पर्सनालिटी का कैसे देखा था. ठीक है. So I have got many calls and all because I had been a proactive student, so I got to see many variety of clients. ठीक है. So it majorly depends on the student also. How much what you make out of the situation. Institute to institute भी चीजें अलग होती हैं, but yes, you cannot just blame the institute. You have to be a proactive student. So the more you gain, the more later it helps you in practice.
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, can I add one more point?
I'm very junior to you and still learning from all of you, so you can refer to me as Trisha. Definitely, sir. All of you can add.
So actually, I think there is enormous scope, as ma'am and sir Manoj sir has also highlighted, and it depends on the personality of the clinical psychologist also, like their choice, what kind of environment they want to work. Many of us, I have seen many people, they say that I don't want to work in core clinical. I want to work with normal people having adjustment problems. So it depends on your aptitude also. And actually, if you see, nowadays we are talking about innovative practices and innovation. So we should be innovative to identify like what are the areas in which I can contribute as clinical psychologist, because there is you can say the scope is enormous. And day by day, new things are coming up. If you talk about like the COVID, during the COVID times, clinical psychologists are active, and they have adapted to this digital technology and contributing in different areas. So it depends on your interest. Like some of you may be more interested in rehab, some of you may be more interested in dealing with clinical population, some of you may be interested in teaching. So your interest also will matter after you will complete your MPhil. So that consideration also needs to be given, because it is not necessary that all clinical psychologists actually only want to work in conventional areas. Many of us, many of the pass outs, they try new avenues, and they try to explore the unexplored territories. So those things are also there. So there is a lot of scope, and it depends on your choice, kind of your orientation. And as ma'am was saying, that you need to be more very proactive when you are doing your program, so that you can deal with the variety of mental health problems. But at the same time, you will also find that you have interest in certain area. So for example, child area. So if you are more interested in child area, you will be exploring job opportunities there. It is also like that. So many factors are there which are, but nonetheless, the scope is ever increasing, and there is no dearth of jobs in the area of clinical psychologists, and most of the trainees, they are actually contributing to the field.
Okay.
Yes. So can we have
Acha,
Dr. Kirmani also on this?
yes, we have.
Yes.
Sir, you have to, Dr. Kirmani, you have to on your camera and mic. We have unlocked from our side, so you should on your camera and right. One more question,
Yeah.
usually student ask when we get call or emails, uh, like most of them say like I want to work in the area of counseling psychology, है ना? So what should I do? What is the degree like we should go for? Because after MA in counseling or psychology, they don't get like license or something, and they say because we are interested in counseling psychology, so why we should go for MPhil clinical psychology. So anything like you want to like guide them, or for these students who are interested in counseling psychology only. So that is my question.
See, responding to this question, counseling psychologists are not the way the clinical psychology is promoted in our country, because regulation for clinical psychology and the professional bodies for clinical psychology is always working, but counseling psychology somehow is not being come into picture for regulation. So in that way, there is no such licensing body which regulate clinical counseling psychologist in our country is there. But recently there is some development. The RCI is going to take up these counseling psychology also. So they are going to structure these program, and they are also going to regulate counseling psychology also. So very soon we'll be finding them in a allied healthcare professionals, and it will be regulated by RCI again. So in future we will be getting all that. Apart from that, in new education policy, which has lot many yeah, you can say changes in that, the course program and structures. So in that way, graduation program is increasing from 3 years to 4 years. That will be a credit based system, and in credit based system you will be opting certain areas where you want to make a major, and on the basis of that there will be a designation of that particular person, and they will get the adequate industry exposure in that particular area also. So like a person who want to become a counseling psychologist, after doing their graduation there will be some 1 or 2 year of master program in counseling psychology, and that there will be a structure of that program, and that will be used and they will be licensed according to that. right? So these are the changes which are going to develop in near future. But currently, practice as a counseling psychologist, there is no restriction. You go ahead with your work and all that, but you have to limit yourself up to that, that you are not dealing with any clinical population. Counseling psychology is okay. You work with a normal population, daily life stresses, daily life issues, in school settings, school counselor, and all different area relationship issues, where there is a no input required, and these are not a diagnosable conditions, where you can easily work. But definitely, when you deal a client who is having a significant disorder or significant, you can say, condition, you need to, you comes under the preview of Mental Health Care Act. And as soon as you comes the under the preview of Mental Health Care Act, you are bound to follow the rules and regulation, right? So my suggestion for the aspirant is that there is no restriction to work as a counseling psychologist, but you need to learn your limits up to what level you can work. And after that, if you want to work in clinical population, definitely you need a MPhil in clinical psychology. So I'm not discouraging anybody, but it is the current state of affairs, and we need to understand the whole scenario, so that nobody is in trouble and they will be working in their areas. And near future, things are going to be streamlined. I hope.
So Dr. Manoj very rightly says that, we as clinical psychologists also venture into very sensitive issues which require expertise, training and license, of course. So keeping in mind those things, we might very calmly, very smoothly work as counselors as well. But keeping in mind the guidelines which Sir just shared. Okay. Yeah. So also to the other three dignitaries, we have one or two important questions by Harshita. I can club them up for her. So she's asking, what is the validity of diploma and postdoctorate courses in psychotherapies? Okay, like, do we need special courses in psychotherapies to do certain therapies?
Dr. Vikas?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think there are very few formal programs. Even if they do exist, I don't think that RCI has recognized those programs. RCI has recognized only the MPhil program in clinical psychology or PDCP program. But I'm not aware of many such programs. But I think some universities are maybe offering such programs. But let me share with all the aspirants that if when you're doing MPhil in clinical psychology, the most of the theoretical orientations are taught to you there. And then depending on your own orientation, you give more attention to certain things, certain models of psychotherapy. For example, somebody may be interested in psychodynamic approach more, some may be interested in cognitive or behavioral models more. So in MPhil, we do cover all the areas. The problem is, like, even if you have done such programs which are not recognized, then you cannot use those approaches with clinical population. Because to deal with the clinical population, as mentioned by Manoj sir before, you should have a qualification, RCI qualification with you. Otherwise, you cannot deal with that. So it is just like counseling, doing guidance and counseling diploma program in guidance and counseling from some university. So you can deal with the general population, but you cannot deal with the clinical population. So to deal with the clinical population, you should have MPhil qualification or diploma qualification in clinical psychology, which is approved by Rehabilitation Council of India.
Right.
So for learning, learning never ends, and there are a lot of courses which you can do. So we are not discouraging you to attend those courses. You can do that, but only on the basis of those programs. You cannot work as a clinical psychologist, and you cannot deal with the clinical population.
Mm-hmm. So one more thing, Dr. Vikas, since this question has postdoctorate fellowship course in psychotherapies, it means the person is already PhD, and in some of the universities in outside our country, there they have a fellowship program, postdoctorate fellowship programs. So
Okay.
again, it depends on that other countries where you will be doing this postdoctorate fellowship program, whether these are recognized in our country or not. In our country, RC recognizes those programs, and after that only you can practice as that area, right? Otherwise, you will be getting license in their area, in their province, where you will be graduated in these fellowships, right? So postdoctorate fellowships are generally the specialized training, basically. For example, somebody wants to do a postdoctorate fellowship in CBT, some DBT, some person wants to do it in behavior therapy, or some motivational enhancement therapy and all that. So there are different postdoctorate fellowship programs in different universities. But in our country, I have not heard about any postdoctorate fellowship program in any of the specialty in this clinical psychology, which is covering psychotherapies and all that. If these are existing, but still you need to have a license to practice. That you can have a super specialization of specific thing, but minimum requirement is that, like it is like that, you need to get a driving license, and which is for the car and jeep. That means you can drive Mercedes also, you can drive Ertiga also, right? But you cannot drive bus. Therefore that you need to have a
Commercial license.
that license. So licensing is specific for specific purpose. It is not for everything, right? So in that way, the same thing applies to us. We need to have a super specialization, but for that also we need to have a licensing procedure to be followed, right? So those who are MPhil, they are already having license, so they need not to acquire a further license. But those who are not having any licensing as a clinical psychologist, if they do this postdoctorate fellowship program, still they need to have a license, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so
And
much.
just one addition, that if you are if you are qualified as a clinical psychologist, then you can utilize whatever you have learned during your PDF more, because you can actually utilize that knowledge with a variety of clinical population.
Yeah.
So it enables you to better utilize any PDF qualification in psychotherapy. So many of us, we have done MPhil, and then we have also done PhD, and now if I do PDF in CBT, then I can better utilize it. If I compare myself with a person who has not done MPhil and then just done PhD and then PDF in CBT, but that person cannot actually use CBT with clinical population in India. Whereas I can do that because I have that qualification. So you can say it is an enabler, basically. MPhil qualification is an enabler. It is not a specialized program. As I mentioned, it is a general program, and you are exposed to so many approaches. But if you have done this, then you are in a better position to utilize whatever you are doing after that. Whether it is PhD or whether it is PDF in any modality, then you are in a better position to actually use those things with the clinical population.
Okay. Trisha ma'am, Dr. Kirmani is with us. So because of, I think, connectivity issue,
Yes.
there is some
Yes.
problem. So you can ask whatever question is for Dr. Mustafa.
Yeah. So there's a question, sir, from one of our attendees, Sham. So it happens to be a little different question. He says that how MPhil in clinical psychology can play a role in de-radicalization of hardcore criminals, gangsters, and serial killers. So yeah, a little different question, but yes.
Actually, can I answer this? Can I try to answer this question?
Yes,
Go back.
definitely.
Before I answer this question, I would like to say that there are courses, they are skill-based programs. In India, MPhil is only a 2-year program, which is not, the duration of 2 years is not like, I train everyone in play therapy, in solution-focused therapy, in
Not possible.
basic orientation is given. Many of my friends who did MPhil from NIMHANS, for example, I can give example, Dr. Shirin Antony, after having done her MPhil and PhD, she has done a specialized course in UK. Now she is working in Kerala, somewhere in South India, on a specialized play therapy. Okay, Dr. Gitanjali has done a course in DBT after her MPhil program in NIMHANS and PhD. Okay, so these specialization, if you do after MPhil, and it gives you and enhance your skills into specialized areas. But MPhil, as most we all are saying, MPhil is a basic thing which will enable you to work as CP in India. Okay. Now, in regards to the hardcore criminals, I think clinical psychologists are trained to work in this area. For instance, is there a psychopathology? Is there? I mean, there are a lot of forensic issues. Well, I think if we start forensic clinical psychology, they will be more equipped with this. But to some extent, I think 40 to 50% training is given in clinical psychology MPhil program, which will enable us, which enables clinical psychologists to have some idea about how to work with such so-called criminals, because many of these criminals may be having some psychopathology. For me, they are not criminals; they are having psychopathology. They are patients. Okay, from a legal perspective, they may be criminals. So this is the small thing I want to
Yeah,
share.
yeah. Very, very well
Now,
answered by Dr. Kermani. We also have another question, which is also, very much important. It says that how to deal with subjectivity while we are conducting projective test. Does MPhil gives training for it? How to deal with the subjectivity issues? Like basically, I guess they are talking about how are we supposed to administer it very objectively and rationally, so that our own input doesn't come into it while we are noting down the responses for projective test. Yeah. So I would
So
like any one of you to take.
I think this is the question which you have to learn through your MPhil program. It is not something which we can tell you in words. This is basically experience-based, skill-based training, which you have to acquire during your MPhil to combat and to answer on this question, because it's not a theoretical question; it's a very experiential question, right? So there are still I will try to answer it. So there are various patterns, there are various response styles which has been worked with these clients, and subjectivity while conducting projective test is depend on how much you are trained in administering that particular projective test, right? So again, this is basically a clinician, one clinician to another clinician may vary on certain points, right? So your full flash training on particular projective techniques will enable, and same times you have to have a background of that particular projective techniques, right? Theories and systems in the, applied in that projective techniques. Until unless you have a sound background in that particular theory, on on which basis this projective test has been made, you are likely to have errors in your interpretations. Since Rorschach has a reliability of 0.67 or 0.70, still it is considered to be as good as it is ranked among top 5 clinical psychology tests. But if you go by the content and go by the structure and all that, it is a complete projective test, even not the semi-projective, which is TAT and CAT are the semi-projective test. It is a complete projective test. But because of the structure, because of the different interpretation systems, because of the Exner contribution in interpreting that and giving some rationales, giving some ratios on that, there is a checkpoint where you can minimize the subjectivity. Further, other tests also you are going to administer on the same patients, clients, and you find some inconsistencies on different tests, then you are supposed to correlate with their clinical findings, observation, and history. So blind reporting on any kind of test is totally restricted, totally is not acceptable in clinical psychology. You have to have a correlation with your clinical findings and observations. So that is what I'm saying. It is based on your skills and training. After that only you are going to learn all these skills, and you will be able to minimize the subjectivity in that, right? So I recommend it. I understand that our faculty colleague also will agree with me that it's basically a training point where you need to train for so many things, right? So
yes.
it is not so simple to answer that.
Yes, Trisa ma'am, I think
Mhm.
we don't have much question now.
Yes, sir.
So if you have any question from our like panelists, you can ask. Otherwise, you can like tell our attendees, like students, about our UIBS and how
Yes.
we prepare them for the
Yeah.
this
Yes.
thing online or offline, what kind of things we are doing,
Yes.
so that you can tell them.
So
If you have any
I
question,
just
for
have,
ask
yeah,
them.
yeah, I
So
just
that,
have one questions from the dignitaries that they majorly ask us कि हम क्या क्या books पढ़ लें, like what books, and they go like this hunt for books, and then हम सब purchase कर लें, सब कर लें, सब रख लें. So we basically tell them to go by major textbooks. ठीक है, we also have created a resource link for the students who've already enrolled with us.
UIBS is having all the resources. You can contact.
Yeah, no, so actually I also wanted to know is there like Morgan and King हो गया, Atkinson and Hilgard हो गया. Do we suggest them any other textbook for general psychology? Like Morgan and King is
So,
the Bible for us. We have to read that. We cannot. No, none of us can have escaped it. We are still reading,
so
probably exploring new things.
yeah,
Hmm.
it depends on the your choice
Hmm.
of books. But
Hmm.
what I personally feel, I'm
Hmm.
don't I don't restrict anybody to one particular book or to other particular
Hmm.
books. They should learn each and everything, every concept which is mentioned in their course syllabus, which is being, and these are answered only through some kind of interactive sessions. I think UIBS is very well doing that, and they have prepared their material on the basis of various textbook. They have consulted and prepared by various faculties, those who are trained in this area.
Okay.
So I think this I may be wrong, but I personally feel I never prepared any single book or two books or three books. But for reference, Morgan is King is there, Atkinson Sifrin is there, and for abnormal psychology, Carlson Butcher we recommend Carlson, biopsychology, Kalat, and psychoanalysis. You can go for psychopathology of everyday life, interpretation of dreams. There are various books. There is no limit to that. Research methodology, generally students are preferring Arun Kumar Singh, but I say psychological testing, Anastasia, personality theories by Pervin Harlands Lindsay, and cognition
Hmm.
Dot and White. So each and every subject within psychology has a special book. So it
Yes,
is
sir.
very
Hmm.
difficult
Hmm. Hmm.
sometimes
Very
to
difficult.
get
Actually,
all
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
resources
I
together.
badly wanted you to say this statement, very difficult to pinpoint books, because this is what we keep on explaining the students. Okay. So thank you. I'll just shift the topic a little bit to what we are doing. So we have been extensively training students who want to get into MPhil and NET programs both. So it is a 6 months period. You get all the resource material, okay, which is updated on a very, very regular basis. We keep a very nice check on everything which is being done in the field, so that we incorporate that and put in our material. Okay, so it is done and there ready for you to read it just. Okay, apart from that, we never restrict you to from reading extra books, which I keep on suggesting for every topic. I like, be it me, be it Gagan ma'am, be it Atul sir, all the other faculty we have, we constantly are purchasing new books and material. Okay, and our program is highly specialized and very much objective in nature. So if a topic goes on, you will get pre-test before the topic. Suppose we're starting with social psychology for that matter, so we'll give you a pre-test before social psychology, how much of it you know. Okay, after the subject is done within 7 classes or 10 classes, probably it takes me to teach social, it's a huge chunk. And then after that, a post test is given to you, so that you analyze how much of it you have gained in the class. Okay, what areas are still left, which is still lacking. So this is how we go. Then the classes are also live recorded. Okay, so you might miss any class. Everyone has other things to do. We understand you might miss classes because of personal and professional reasons, but which is not encouraged. But otherwise, you get recording of classes. Okay, so you can go back, access the recording, make your own notes again, listen to the recording n number of times, so that if you don't feel like reading, you can just put it there, keep on listening to it and understand the concepts. And doubts are clarified, doubt sessions hote hain, mock test clarification sessions hote hain. And then once students clear the entrances, okay, so for every student, if even if there's just one student, we have a personalized interview preparation class. We incorporate the best of our experiences with dignitaries like you, our own experiences. Sir has his own couple of things to put on, and then we create this whole class where we prepare you for the interview. So things have been very nice, very good for us. We're getting very good results. Our students have been there in Nimhan, Sibhas, CIP, RML, okay, PGI, Chhattisgarh, GMC, everywhere. Like we have students all throughout India now. So we keep on getting inputs from them also. How did they face it? How did they clear it? We incorporate everything and we try to provide you the best of things ongoing, current things ongoing. Okay. So any more queries you have, you can go to the links or just provided over the chat box. Okay.
And
And
I'll share also the screen, and
Hmm.
let me like we have preparation college, different kind of packages we have.
Mhm.
Like one is like, oh, you can opt for mock test only, and the reading material, hard copy or online notes you can take from us. E-learning is like you will get the recorded classes also, along with notes and the mock tests, etc. And we have different sessions from our alumni students and faculties of different institutions. And then we have live classes because of COVID. We are more like providing online live classes on Google platform, Google Meet, and that you can access for 6 months, and other things, recording, mock test, chapter test, and everything you will get for 1 year, so that you can, because MPhil examination are not centralized, so each institute they conduct examination at different time all over the years, right, entire year. So that is why we have given the access of 1 year. And then you can also, because when you are preparing for MPhil, you can also prepare for NET, because most of the preparation for psychology paper 2 you have already completed in NET preparation. So then you can opt for paper 1 also, paper 1, so that you can clear those, because instead of like preparing first for MPhil and then for NET, uh, uh, is not, I don't think that is a good idea, because again when you start after MPhil, then it takes again the same time. So it is always better to go for both the things. Link is given in the chat box. And if you like want to add something, or you have any question, you can write to us. And Dr. Vikas and Dr. Nadeem Kermani, if you have any like, if you want to suggest something to us, or you have any, you want to comment anything, you can, we are open to that, and then we'll bind up this session.
Yeah. Okay, I think Atul sir and Madam Tisha Madam, you are doing a great job. UIBS is doing a great job, and actually, it was nice to see that you have such modules, and you have the provision of post tests. So all these things are very nice. Then we can also introduce a concept of CEP, that is continuous evaluation of the people
Program.
who are in this program. Because myself and Dr. Nadeem, sir, we have implemented this scheme, and we found that it is very helpful for the students, because then they know that they will be continuously assessed, and that gives them the ample practice of whatever they are doing, to what extent they are doing. So I think that can be done, but otherwise it's great. It's nice to see that you are involved in such things, and MPhil program, NET, they are becoming more and more highly competitive, and
Right.
uh, preparation is required. Without preparation, nobody can move forward. And I think the direction is more important than speed. And
Right.
your organization is giving the right direction, because even if your speed is high and your direction is wrong, you will go in a totally different side, okay, very fast. So both direction and speed are important. So from that perspective, it is nice, and it is great that you are providing the reading material also, because foundations also are very important. They should have the people should have good foundation, then only they can learn more advanced things. So thank you so much. Thank you very much for having such programs, having such events, and providing guidance to so many aspirants who want to become clinical psychologists. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And we have like,
Hello.
hello.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Kirmani also we would like to hear from you as well. Anything you would like to suggest us?
I'm extremely happy that Adul sir and his team is working so nicely, because there was a time, I used to give tuitions to psychology. I want to share something very small, 2 minutes. I used to teach psychology, okay, as a tuition, okay. That around 2000, I think, okay. People were asking me, यार psychology क्या होता है? इसमें क्या tuition वुशन होता है? Okay. So now after 20 years have gone, so I'm so happy that Atul sir and his team has started a coaching center for professional program. So you are doing a great job, and also you are helping a lot in professionalizing psychology. And that is a great job you guys are doing. And my support and our support, as with my head, Dr. Vikas, and my colleague, Dr. Vikas, will be there. And we want to produce best clinical psychologists in India. And your center will be one of the centers which will give us first direction how to become a clinical psychologist. So great job, and keep it up, and we are with you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank you
Thank you
for.
very much. Means a lot to us.
So our motto is to provide like good quality like teaching
Yes.
online or off online because of COVID. Even before that, we like Trisa know like from last 2-3 years we are doing online coaching also, so that we can reach to remote areas also,
Yeah,
right?
we can cater to
And
everyone who cannot physically come.
and other thing is our motto is to provide affordable thing, because sometimes it becomes too like costly, so we are trying to, because of that we are doing recordings, and we are like giving that to we are working in different areas also, like for IGNOU students, because they don't have any classes or something. So all those things we are doing into like we are into that, so that we can provide affordable like teaching to at least all over, because internet connectivity is not an issue right now in India. So we are trying to reach, like in like recently, like we had a like problem in Kashmir because they don't had internet and all. So we have provided them, like we sent to many students, we have sent the books and downloaded recorded classes so that they can access, because even after like resuming internet connectivity, they have low like 2G
Low
connectivity, so
speed.
they cannot like download or something. So we send them to send these recorded classes to them so that we can help them. So thank you very much, like Dr. Kirmani and Dr. Vikas, so for joining us. I'm very grateful that you have joined us and enlightened our students and participants, to like clear their doubts and all. Yes, Trisa.
Yeah, so I would just like to share that we all share one common thing, that is love for psychology, and I can very clearly see on the dignitaries also that they're actually very happy that we are trying to, gather more people in the field, like bring more people to the MPhil fraternity. So it clearly shows like everyone shares that one common
Yes,
bond.
yes.
Very nice interacting with all of you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Dr. Vikas. Also, Dr. Manoj.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Manu, Dr. Manoj
Uh,
also. Yeah.
he is with me
Thanks
only.
a lot.
Nah, we are so. Thank
I'm
you.
today host.
He is co-host. Okay. So, okay, thank you very much for joining us, every attendee and guest. So, hope we will meet soon again for some other
And I
topic.
Sure,
hope
sure.
aspirants has learned, or we are able to make some changes, or we are able to throw some light of some of the queries, we could answer it, and we'll be happily available, and will provide constant support to our new aspirants in whatever capacity they want to reach to us.
Okay, thank
Thank
you very
you.
much. So, we are signing off now.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Kemani.
you.
Thank you, Trisha. And
Thank you, sir.
Bye
Thank you.
bye. Bye everyone.
Bye bye.